My name is Amanda Bell. I'm married to Dr. Brent Bell, who is the dentist of our practice, Bell Family Dentistry, and I am the business manager. I run the whole thing. So my husband and I opened our practice in 1997 in Riverbank, California. So we've been in practice for quite a few years now. He is a general practitioner. We see all ages, and he does every kind of procedure you can imagine. We hired our team back before we actually knew if we were going to be able to reopen and when, because we received a PPP loan. So I was able to put them to work remotely, doing lots of chart auditing and preparing for the time that we would open. The biggest thing that we had to change was the way that we handled the PPE. Of course, we had to have the KN95s, and luckily, because we're associated with Henry Schein, we had a really good supply chain for that. It's not a never-ending supply chain, but it was enough for us to open. We knew that the disposable gowns were going to be in short supply, so we opted to purchase scrubs and cloth lab jackets for every employee, enough for them to change lab jackets for every patient. Then that meant we had to install a washer and dryer, so quite a lot of expense up front. Initially, we had some team members who were very, very nervous about returning. So it was important that we not only explained all the protocols, but where we were getting our information from and why we were doing them. So our employees are all required to wear KN95 masks. We have enough that we issue them one for each day of the week, and then they store those in a paper bag and they reuse them one more week, and then we reissue them 2 new sets. We also require them to change their lab jackets, obviously, in between each patient, no matter what. And because we have cloth lab jackets that we're washing, the problem we ran into with that is those don't extend down to your knees. So we came up with a creative solution. Initially, we were looking at disposable ponchos, but that didn't really work out very well. So then we went to disposable restaurant bibs. Those come like 500 to a box, and you can just tie those on over your scrubs, and it protects everything down to your knees. So you can just throw that away and change your lab jacket, and you're on to the next patient. When we reopened, one of the biggest problems was patients knowing if we were open or not. And so the first thing we did, probably about 3 days before we reopened, we sent out a mass text to everybody letting them know the date we were going to reopen. And we were literally flooded with phone calls. Our phone system couldn't handle it. We were surprised at how many people wanted to get back in and get their cleanings done and had problems that needed to get taken care of. After that, after them calling us, we also called patients. We call them sometimes 3 days before, 2 days before, and go over the protocols about coming to our office. We request patients wear masks when they enter the office, and they can take them off once they're inside the treatment room, making sure that they understand that we don't want them to bring any extra people with them to the appointment, and that we're going to ask them screening questions. We do have automated texts that go out to remind them of appointments. We also put those instructions in there. So we're trying to make sure they know what to expect when they come, and to know that we're trying to provide as safe an environment as possible. I think one of the best tips I can give to anyone to make it through a situation like this and be successful is that you need to plan ahead. We immediately went into planning and investigative mode, and we got our hands on every bit of information that we could. So when the time came to reopen, we didn't all of a sudden have to go, okay, I need to get PPE. Where am I going to get these masks? Where am I going to get that? We'd already been planning for it and had these things in place so that we could reopen as soon as we were able. I don't know that we would have been able to get through this crisis as well as we did without the help of Henry Schein. We have a really excellent rep who I could talk to every day, who was looking out for PPE and giving me information about what supplies were available and what supplies weren't. We were getting directed to webinars that were giving us information, just a real wealth of knowledge. And because we could go through Henry Schein, we got some of the best information we possibly could. We used Dentrix Ascend, and that was really a lifesaver, because there was a period of time when we had no employees, but my husband was still seeing emergencies. I don't know what happened if the virus makes people get abscesses, but it seemed like everybody either broke their teeth or the fillings they didn't take care of a year ago became root canals, something. And so he ended up seeing 3 to 4 emergency patients a day. And I was able to run things from home. I didn't have to be in there and be exposed. So I could, create treatment plans, and I could do all of the logistical work that needs to be done, and he could just do the dental work. and we kept up with things that way. I was also able to keep up with entering the slow trickle of insurance payments that came in. And when our employees went back to work, I was able to assign them things to do from home because Ascend is cloud-based. So I think the whole team at Henry Schein, for us, deserves a big round of thanks, because from the resources to the support to the tools that were given to us, they were really priceless.